Hey everybody, Clint here with American Patriot Defense. Starting up the YouTube again, we're going to be doing some product reviews, um, some shorts on some training, some progression on my USPSA journey in carry optics division, and some trying to grow this business a little bit more in the future. So, hope you enjoyed the journey, and if you like what you see, just give me a thumbs up, subscribe, okay? But today we're going to be going over a product review, 5,000 round review of the Holosun SCS. Uh, so this is the Holosun SCS, SCS MGRLEM. So that's the MOS model, and the LEM stands for the law enforcement model. All right, so all that means is this is the law enforcement model, meaning it has went through additional QCs, quality controls, before shipped out to law enforcement officers. So this optic was purchased with my own money. This was approved by my agency for me to do a T&E, because we are in the T&E process of um, potentially looking at um, transitioning to optics in the future at some point. Um, but this was one of the ones that we tested, and while I was testing this, I took it to two different schoolhouses, and I everyday carried it for the past year. So for the most part, it's been mounted on a Glock 45 MOS, and it was also mounted for about a week on a Glock 34 MOS, which was my duty weapon. Um, The class it was taken to first was Gunsight 250, is a Vet 250 course, and then most recently it was taken to the Modern Samurai Project instructor course. So um, in this review, we're going to go through what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, um, and a little bit in between. But if you don't know what the SCS is, it's a solar charging site. It's a direct mount for MOS platform, so meaning no mounting plates needed. So it mounts directly onto a MOS platform. Um, they claim, I believe it's 20,000 hour battery life. It's got a 2 MOA dot, 32 MOA circle, and then you have the option of doing a 2 MOA dot with the 32 MOA circle. Inside, you can't adjust the brightness levels. So it's auto adjust brightness. Um, there's no shake awake. It's on all the time. Um, Titanium housing. Um, so overall, I've had really good luck with the optic. I don't have a whole lot of complaints with it, to be honest. For what it is, it's done really, really, really well. I'll give you my overall thoughts here in a little bit at the end. But just a snapshot of that overall so far, I can't really knock it too bad. So when I give the cons are, um, just my view of some things that I wish they did or could have improved on. Um, Minus one of them, really. Uh, so we're going to start with the cons because I'd rather, you know, tear somebody down and build them back up. Not that Holosun really cares what I think, but if they happen to read this or see this, maybe they'll listen. I'm sure this is probably some common stuff that a lot of other people have already have said. Um, first and foremost, my relationship to Holosun is I'm a complete stranger to them. They don't know me. Purchased this with my own money. So this is just my opinions, and no opinions other than my own. So I'm not getting paid or anything like that. So, all right. So first con. So while I was at Gunsight, day two, uh, one of the screws sheared on the optic, and the way I noticed that was I have, when I install an optic, I do witness marks with a paint pen, um, and I just happened to do a post operations check. So, I was just checking the back of the slide. I looked down, noticed basically the screw was missing. We were luckily breaking for lunch at that time, and so I don't know how long that screw actually was gone. I have zero clue. Um, so went up to the gunsmith, Finks, gunsmith. Shout out to Finks. Um, I'll be waiting for my pistol to be done, by the way. Um, uh, he the gunsmith up there, he just basically dropped it off with him. He got the screw out, put two new screws in, um, confirmed zero for me, and I was back on the range within 45 minutes to an hour. Not a big deal. Finished that class out without a hiccup after that. Dot ran flawlessly the entire time during that class after that. Whenever I got back home, I contacted Holosun and let them know I had that issue. They apologized for that, sent me some replacement screws, which didn't really need them at that time, but it's a good gesture that they did that, and were aware of that situation, and apparently they had a bad batch of screws come from their supplier, and they're trying to get that rectified. So I'm seeing on Facebook and forums and stuff. That's a common issue, I believe, or more common than not, for people that are actually shooting their guns like they should be, training like they should be, and so Holson is aware of it, and they will take care of you on that end of the deal. So, but to me, not a big deal. Not a failure in the optic, failure in a mounting device, failure in the screw, not a failure in the optic though. So all right, so that's the only failure I had of any sort uh, to this whole thing. So now, while I was at Modern Samurai Project a couple weeks ago, when doing some 1 inch and 2 inch box drills at 7 and 10 yards, where I couldn't adjust the brightness of the dot, the dot took up a lot of that real estate of my aiming point of my target, of my intended target. So, it wasn't taken up. If I was aiming at A zone, it's not a big deal at that distance. But when I'm trying to do precision work at a 1 inch box at 10 yards, or a 2 inch box at 10 yards, or a 2 inch square at 10 yards, at 2 MOA dot, when it was extremely bright based on the ambient light that I was in, and I had no control over that, and it did um, uh, hinder me a little bit. I was able to get through the drills and pass the drills no problem. But if I was a new dot shooter, I could see where that would be an issue for some. Your experienced dot shooters that can overcome that, not a big deal. But if this was going to be your first, if this was going to be your first dot, that's something you definitely need to be cognizant of, probably. Um, Shake awake. I think even though it's got 20,000 hours of battery, this thing's on all the time. That we know the technology exists. A lot of other companies are doing shake awake. Holosun has shake awake on just about every one of their other optics. I don't, not a tech guy. I'm more likely to break something than to fix something with technology. But I don't see I don't know what it would take to put a little bit more technology inside here to add shake awake inside this system to allow it to turn on and turn off and be reliable, like all their other products. But I think that would be a really great feature, uh, to add shake awake to this, just to increase that 20,000 hours. Additionally, one thing that I didn't think was going to be such an issue until I actually started using this a lot, window size. So I prefer a little bit larger window, like an SRO or 509T, 508T, even the 507s are fine. RMR, traditional size window or a little bit larger. Um, where this thing sits so low in co-witnesses with your factory sites, the, the dot gets there quick, but it's also the window size feels really small. It feels almost like a micro dot, like a 407K or 507K size dot um, on a full size gun, and maybe a hair bit bigger, but not much. Um, so I wish they would make it a little bit more full size for that. I think it being full size and an enclosed emitter would be good. We know they make an enclosed emitter for the 320, so why couldn't they do it for the MOS or the PDP or the BP9? So maybe just standardize the SCS line across the board. But you know, these are reaches for some cons or some complaints. But those are really all the cons or complaints I really have over it. The dot ran really well over the 5,000 rounds that I put through it and carried it every day off duty. So, um, and, in the training I did with it. So I really have not a whole lot of complaints. I mean, I trust my life with it every day. Um, so let's get into the pros. So pros, price point. So my price point for this, I believe, was around 280 to 290. That was with the law enforcement uh, discount, but I think with coupon codes you can get these around 300 to 320. I think on Amazon I saw them for 330 on Amazon. So you know, given that you don't have to get suppressor height sights or any backup iron sights. These will mount directly to a MOS platform, and you can use factory height sights to co-witness. Um, that's a pretty good bang for buck. If you're asking, talking to me, I always like to look for value when I purchase something. I don't have to have the latest and greatest Trigicon, or I'm not dropping my gun constantly, or ever really, but not saying that I won't. But my weapons aren't getting abused, like very often. So I try to look for value as long as I can retain reliability, and I feel like this has got value and reliability. Um, not be able to another pro, not having to worry about a battery. Uh, I typically change batteries uh, uh, New Year's Day. Didn't have to do that this New Year's. Didn't have to put it. This is one I didn't have to mess with. I did my New Year's Day battery swap. Um, uh, New Year's Day on uh, just a few days ago, and then this one I just had to skip, just skip. So that was kind of nice not having to worry about that with this. So that's a pro to me. Um, we talked about sites and co-witnesses with your factory height sites. Washout. Now this is my experience, and this is a sample size of one. Um, I have not had any washout with bright light, white light. I've used Surefire X300 turbos. I've used TLR1 HLs. I've used Surefire stilettos. Um, what else? Patrol lights, spotlights, uh, red and blue patrol lights. Um, I haven't had any type of washout with the dot on a target. There's not been any. The sensors inside the optic have been able to adjust it to brightness where the dot is still visible on target. At night, pitch black and with ambient light. I have not experienced washout with this optic. Um, I have heard some people have. I have not. I've purposely went into a pitch black room with a 1,000+ lumen light, zero washout, and then I don't know what else I can do to cause more washout. I've held the light in front of it. I've held it directly behind it. I've held it on top of it. I can't get it. I've had light pointed directly back at me, and I point light at them. I was not able to get washout. So that's a pro to me. I feel like the sensors are getting a lot better now to help prevent washout. Um, Durability, I've had no issues with it. I think it's a very durable optic, titanium housing. The glass is nice and thick, nice and strong, zero issues. Now, I know I complained about the low profile a little bit, but I think with the co-witnessing, the low profile is nice, especially for concealed carry. It's snag proof. You don't have to worry about it sticking out and being very snaggy on anything. So for a concealed carry optic, it's a really good option. So I know I kind of mentioned that as a con, but it is somewhat of a pro a little bit as well. It is a very low profile optic, and it sits low. Not having to, and this goes back to price and cost, not having to buy another $100 set of suppressor height sights or larger sights to get a lower 1/3 co-witness, adds up, especially if you're going to do multiple guns. I like to have two of every firearm, just to have, in case one goes down, I have a second, just as a redundancy. Okay, just it's part of my pace plan. But um, you know, those are my biggest pros about it. So what's my overall? Oh, and another pro, customer service. So when I had that screw go down and I contacted customer service, they were great. I know some people complain about Holosun's customer service. I haven't had an issue with their customer service. I also haven't had to use it very much because I haven't had very many issues out of any of my Holosun optics. Actually, that screw was the first time I've actually had to call Holosun uh, for customer service. So, but anyways, what's my overall take on it? Would I buy the optic again? Absolutely, I would buy it again if I had a purpose for it. Why is it off my gun right now? Well, I am selling the optic to a friend of mine, because I want to try another, what I feel is a budget slash value optic that I'm going to do another video on after between 2,000 and 5,000 rounds. And when that happens, I'll do another video. But I want to test it out, which is another direct mount for MOS. And to my knowledge, this could be a spoiler alert, it's the only other direct mount to MOS platform that I know of. So it really intrigued me. And I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I didn't see anything on YouTube about it yet, so I'll give it a shot. But that's really the only reason it's off the gun, is I want to try that other optic, and where I buy my own stuff. The only way I can afford it is to sell this one and buy the other one. So otherwise, I probably would be keeping this optic, and after I got done with the other one, I'd put this one back on. But I may like the other one; it just stays on. If I don't like the other one, I may end up going back to one of these. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, I would purchase this optic again, and I would recommend this optic for somebody that's looking for a good concealed carry optic, for a direct mount MOS that doesn't want to have to spend a lot of money on a bunch of other items, or you're getting into RDSs and you just don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, which it should be your cup of tea. Once you do it, you won't go back as long as you get proper training from a reputable source. Okay. So that's the key, proper training from a reputable source that knows how to train you on RDSs. Okay. not Joe Bud in the backyard. All right, guys and gals. So, but anyways, I would recommend this optic for sure. So that's all I got to say about the Holosun SCS, and that's the MOS model. So hope this helps people make a decision if they want to give it a shot. Um, if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. If you don't, do whatever you feel like you need to do. I don't care. But I didn't see a whole lot of reviews out there that were too in depth and too overly descriptive. This is going on too long anyway, so most people probably won't watch this video in its entirety. But you know, I like to be thorough, so um, I hope this helps somebody. All right, guys. Well, get out there, get training, do some shooting, and we'll see you out there.